Hello my friends, I'm Al and welcome back to Al's Vinyl Collection. Now today we're going to be carrying on with our Sound Engineer Hears X for the First Time series, which is quickly becoming one of my favourite things on this channel. And we're going to be listening to Fleetwood Mac. Now get your pitchforks, get your torches. I know already what the comments are going to be for this video. Fleetwood Mac have escaped me. Now I know there was a video with Kate Bush saying, "Oh, a sound engineer's never heard of Kate Bush. A basketballer's never heard of Michael Jordan." I have heard of Fleetwood Mac and I have heard of Kate Bush. Obviously, I just haven't sat down before and listened fully to Fleetwood Mac the same way I haven't listened to Kate Bush. They just haven't been in my remits. I like a wide array of artists. These are just outside of what I've listened to. That's all there is. Now, before we jump into this video, I just want to very quickly say over 94% of the people who watch these videos are not subscribed. Now, it's free. You can always unsubscribe later if you don't like the content, but my main thing with this channel is community feedback and community connection, and there might be some more videos that you might miss if you're not subscribed, so please do consider it if you would be so kind. Now, the song we're going to be listening to is The Chain. I don't know anything about The Chain other than these lyrics. I'm looking right now at Spotify and I can see this chorus, and I've not sat down and consciously listened to The Chain properly in full, but I have a feeling I might know some of these lyrics. But we're just going to listen to it, and I'll give you some thoughts on the sonic profile of this song. I don't want to dive too much into the lyrics. As a sound engineer, I'm more interested in what's going on sonically and in the soundscape, so I'll probably talk a little bit more about that. But without further ado, let's see where this takes us. I need a notepad or something to collect my thoughts because there are so many thoughts for this song. Two standout moments. Firstly, I do recognize the song just from that chorus, but also the bass in the second half of that song. The bass is very, very familiar. I think probably from short form content on apps, you know, like Reels, TikTok, and whatnot. That must have been a viral sound because I recognize that a lot. There is so much going on sonically with this song to talk about, and it's amazing. So, right, first off the bat, that bass drum, the kick, has such a natural... It's such a dry sound on that stem. It is so dry, and that's great. That's really brilliant. No kind of over-processing. The acoustic guitar... sorry, I'm pointing to the left, but on the left, the acoustic guitar sat perfectly, and I loved you could hear fret buzz on the guitar. At one point early in the song, there was fret buzz. I love that. I love that this wasn't kind of edited down to be a perfect take in a sense. And then the electric guitar on in the right field as well. Brilliant use of the stereo field. But the two guitars complemented each other massively to the point where it created such, for me, such a feeling of like a Western song. It felt very borderline cowboy in a great way. You know, like not country, but it felt like you were watching a standoff, a showdown in the middle of an old Western town. Now the vocals struck me. The vocals struck me as they were quite thin, and that's not a bad thing. But obviously, when you record vocals, usually you use an equalizer on them, and the EQ on these vocals didn't sound much like what I've heard before with songs conventionally. That's probably a good thing. Everyone mixes differently, but the vocals sat very, very far down the mix. You know, you had the two instruments left and right, the two guitars, which were really kind of dominating the song, and the vocals sat nicely back, and they weren't in your face, and that's a good thing. That they complemented the song, and then in the chorus, I believe it's the chorus. You know, the let me just pull up the lyrics. But if you don't love me now, you'll never love me again. The backing vocals in the right stereo field, wow, loved those. Really, really great ambience from them. Really well mixed as well. Backing vocals can be quite a hard thing to mix, but when you use that touch of reverb and delay, just created a really nice ambience. And obviously the second half of this song we need to talk about because it just completely shifted. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Like I said, I don't really want to break into the lyrics. I'm more interested in what's going on sonically. But lyrically, it's a great song. You know, it is a great song. You'll never break. You'll never love me again. We'll never break the chain. It's really interesting thematically, and I will probably dive into this in my own time and just have a think about it. But I'd rather hear for this series. I'd rather hear what you think of the lyrics, and I can talk about the soundscape. Obviously, you can as well. But you know, I can make this the focus of the videos. But that second half, it felt like two ideas musically. It felt very, very. It contrasted that first section, obviously, very. It's a very stark contrast. Sorry, that's what I was trying to say. The song felt like it was potentially two or three different musical ideas put into one song, which is always really interesting to hear. It has happened on a few occasions with big songs, but I find it interesting to listen to. But it was really, it was almost quite tense having the bass lead into the second section and the drums just becoming such a rhythmic. You could hear those brushes on the snare. It was such a kind of almost like a heart-pounding rhythm, and it never really broke. By the time the song ended, that tension never really broke, and I find that's really interesting, and it's a really nice touch. And also towards the end of the song, the vocals spread a lot. Now you had one main vocal still sitting at the same point back in the mix. But to have the second, the flip between the backing vocals and the lead vocals in that second half, where the backing vocals were sparsely used in the chorus, we now had in the second half, the backing vocals were the dominant vocals in the song, and the lead vocal, who was sat center field back, sounded almost like the backing vocal instead, which I find really interesting. And also the lead vocals were quite dry. I noticed that as well. Usually when you're mixing vocals, you want to put on, it depends obviously on what you're mixing, but for me, I like to put on just enough reverb. I'll dial in my reverb bus to the point where it sounds too noticeable, and then dial it back slightly. And then when you compare the, when you bypass the send, you can hear quite a stark difference between the dry and the wet vocals. But these were considerably dry. I couldn't hear any real reverb on them, which is probably a credit to the engineer, really. But yeah. Anyway, The Chain, that was a brilliant song. That was a brilliant song. And I'm annoyed at myself that I haven't listened to this in full ever. It was definitely, I've definitely heard two halves of this song. But if anything, I preferred this ambience kind of intro, this. I preferred this to the "If you don't love me now, you'll never love me again" part. I thought it's just, I'm a sucker for ambience, basically. But yeah, no, that's really it. That's really it. Let me know what you think of this song. Let me know your thoughts on the lyrics, and if you have any kind of production thoughts, or if you got any facts on the song. I obviously want to know the context of the song as well, the history of the song, the history of the band. So please do let me know. Thank you for joining me on this journey, and I will see you hopefully in the next video if you haven't subscribed, and if you haven't, then please consider it. I will see you later.